Hey everyone, it's Andrew. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a video doing an unboxing, review, and first time brush test with the Voom Sonic Pro Series 7 electric toothbrush. This is an electric toothbrush that you can currently get on Amazon for about $35 to $43. It's going to be ultrasonic electric toothbrush. Comes in 4 separate colors. This is going to be the gray with the black toothbrush head color, but they've got an all black one with a black toothbrush head. They have a purple one with a white brush head, and then they have an all white toothbrush as well. As far as the main features of this, it's going to have 5 separate speeds, a 2-minute timer, a quadrant pacer, it'll have induction charging base, it'll be ultrasonic, and then 100% waterproof. So it really hits all the high points of a typical electric toothbrush, but it is much more affordable and reasonable. And so what we'll do is we'll kind of look at the packaging, go over the main features, and we'll walk through brushing with it with a sense of feedback. As always, if you're interested in purchasing this, I'll leave the links below, but we'll kind of just get started. So this is what it shows. Shows the toothbrush on the front of the packaging, says it's ultrasonic, says it's our most advanced toothbrush, has 5 speeds, 2-minute timer, quadrant pacer, says feel the boom. So I'm curious how this will feel. And then on the back here, it lists other features. Hopefully you can see those, but induction charging, sonic cleansing, 30-second quadrant pacing, which is nice to make sure you're brushing all the areas of your mouth adequately. It has a magnetic levitation force. Not sure what that's about, but we'll have to see what that means. It is 100% waterproof and has 5 different brush modes. The 5 different brush modes is a key feature at this price point. Typically, a lot of the brushes at this price point usually has like 3 different modes. So we'll have to see how that varies. And then in this box, it'll have the toothbrush, 2 extra brush heads, the manual, and then the adapter for charging and the charging base. It does say that each of the brush heads should last around 3 months. So with this, if it has 2 brush heads versus 3, you're looking about 6 to 9 months of use out of this. But we'll open the packaging and take a look at what comes inside. Okay, so here's everything that comes in the packaging. It's in this slide out container, which is nice and compact. We'll go over each of the items. It also has a manual that goes over the different features of the brush, but we'll not go into that as far as details. So first off, there's going to be a wall adapter, which is USB-A port, which is nice. A lot of the different brushes as well as different electric items right now don't actually come with a wall adapter, so it's nice that they actually included that. But really, you just have the charging base here that'll insert directly into this, and this is what the charging base looks like. It actually has a flat surface, so if you look here, it's not grooved at all, which is unique. That's probably what they meant by that magnetic like induction, where the brush will probably sit magnetically to sit in here rather than sit in a slotted groove, which is nice because there's not a like deep indent where toothpaste and grossness will get into. You can easily clean this off, which is nice. But it says Voom there. It's all black, has a little bit of a groove pattern there, but that's it. It does have some silicone on the bottom so it doesn't slide. But that's the actual charger. Cable's probably about 2 feet long, but I'm not going to actually pull that out. So that's the charger. You have 2 separate brush heads here. We'll just pull these out and look at them. I'll only open one, obviously, because I don't need to right now. But this is the brush head. Actually has like a standard brush design here. It's a kind of a neon yellowish color mixed with a green. The bristles are very, very gentle to the touch. Are very full as far as that. There's no silicone rubber or anything like that. It's just a standard kind of like bristle design that does have a wavy pattern so it can reach in between your teeth there, and so that's what that looks like there. So that's the brush head that comes in it, and there's 2 total brush heads, not 3. And then here's the actual toothbrush, and we'll get rid of this plastic so it's out of the way. But this is the brush, so this is what it looks like. So this is the silver design. As I mentioned, they have silver, black, purple, and white. As far as the design here, it's a sleek, I can't tell if it's metal or plastic, but there's a nice texture to it. Slight texture. It's not like rubbery or silicone-y, but it does have a nice feel in the hand. It does have some weight from that standpoint, but it's not too heavy. Has a power switch on the front here. Also has indicators for the modes, and so there's 5 separate modes for this. There's going to be a whitening mode, cleaning mode, sensitive mode, gum care mode, and deep clean mode. The nice thing about this, if you can see it, is the writing for that is very clear and spelled out directly on the toothbrush, which is nice. If you look at other designs, usually they have like either a light feature or something like that, that it's like a small print on the side and then the light kind of toggles through that. But this is very nice and sleek, and the writing's really nice from that standpoint, which is nice. I haven't seen that on other ones. On the bottom here, there's a little like port there, or light there. I'm assuming that's for on off and an indicator for when it needs to be charged. And then lastly is the Voom writing on the bottom. But overall, it's a nice sleek finish. I like the overall design construction of that. The bottom here has like this nice silvery finish. In the back, it looks like it's got a port on the back where if there's fluid on the thing, it'll come out the back there, which will prevent it from building up mold and kind of damaging the hardware. As far as the top here, this is what the actual toothbrush attachment is. So typically for these, all you have to do is take the brush, put it directly on, and it'll click into place. And then this is ultrasonic, where it'll vibrate, so it will not oscillate or anything like that, but it's easy on, off, slides directly into place. You can't really screw this up because the toothbrush head is designed where it'll just slide in that one direction, which is nice. As far as turning this on, well, hopefully it's charged. So yeah, so it immediately turns on, power switch turns on. You can hold it and it should turn off. Sorry. Huh. Oh, so it's interesting. It's not a hold button. You actually have to press it down. You press it down and then you just tap it. Once you tap it to toggle through the modes. Either way, it turns on really easily. It toggles through very easily from that standpoint. And yeah, it looks like if you want to turn it off without brushing, you just basically toggle through all the 5 modes, and then it'll go to the stop mode, like the red light will blink, and that should turn off, or this needs to be charged. But either way, it probably needs to be charged from that standpoint. But that's the kind of main features there. As far as the actual brush head, let's look at it. So we'll look at the different modes. So this is the whitening mode. So this is ultrasonic. And so it's vibrating pretty strong. You can see the actual bristles vibrating without difficulty. Pretty strong vibration there and ultrasonic nature there. So it should work pretty well. That's the whitening. This is the cleaning mode. It's just a little bit less intense as far as the ultrasonic there, not as strong as the whitening. The sensitive mode is a higher hum, and it's a lighter, it's weird. The frequency seems higher as far as the pitchness of it, but the bristles don't move as widely with that, with the sensitive mode. So it's probably not as intense there, so it won't stimulate your gums and make you sensitive there. And then this is the gum mode. And so if you can hear it, it pulsates. So it's pulsating between like a intense mode and like toggling through, and you can actually see the bristles toggle through like back and forth with that. So it's like boom, boom, as you can see. And then lastly is the deep clean mode, which seems like a very intense mode as well, where it's just oscillating at the highest frequency. So then let's go back to whitening. So whitening's that. So I don't know the big difference between whitening, cleaning, and deep clean, but there is a noticeable difference for the gum care where it's toggling, and the sensitive one is a little bit less sensitive from that standpoint. But that's the main features there. It looks like it does need to be charged. What we'll do is just test out the stand here and kind of see it. But yeah, so there is a slight magnetic charge here. So rather than sitting directly into like a port here on the bottom of the charger, this actually has a magnet there that it allows it to sit flush there, and it works pretty well. It holds it upright with that. It's not the strongest of magnets, so you do feel it there, but it's not like a super strong magnet. So I think that if you don't, like if it's turned to the side here, it will fall off. But if it's sitting flush on the ground, you can easily put it on, off, and it does sit there flush like that. But if you knock this over, it's going to fall off really easily. So the magnetic aspect's pretty interesting and unique. Haven't seen that before, but it's not the strongest magnet from that standpoint. But that's all for as far as unboxing this and looking at the main features here. Now what I'll do is I'll brush with this for the very first time to give you a sense of how it performs. Okay, so before we do brush, I did want to show you the charging stand and the functionality there, just so you get a sense of how that performs. But easily the brush sits directly onto the charger here, and when you slide it on here, it'll illuminate the base charger, so you know that it's charging. And the actual brush will show a light on the front here to show you that it's charging as well. I suspect this light will probably change a different color to like a green color when it's fully charged, or when you use it, it'll no longer blink at the bottom. But I will have to charge it for a period of time before I use it long term. But that's what the charging base actually looks like. The magnetic aspect of it is really nice. I do like that feature of it. I haven't seen that with other brush heads or toothbrushes, and I do like the fact that will allow you to clean the base much more easily, which is nice as compared to having like a bunch of toothbrush mess on the bottom here. Okay, so now we're going to test out the Voom Sonic Series Electric Toothbrush. What I'm going to do is I'm first going to toggle through the different modes while brushing, just to give you a sense of what they feel like as well as how they perform as far as against my teeth, just to see if there's any general variation. Then what I'll do is I'll walk through brushing with this for a full 2-minute amount of time, and at the end I'll give you feedback as far as how it performs with the different quadrant sensors and the overall time limit and how it turns off. But we'll get started. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to use the whitening mode, and so immediately turns on. And I'll say that immediately it's pretty intense. It does have an ultrasonic nature. The bristles do move very freely, seem to clean very easily, so I'm pretty excited to try this out further. Now we'll try out the cleaning mode. So that feels about the same. I don't notice a big difference there. Sensitive mode. Which is a little bit less intense there. I will say that me personally, ultrasonic brushes are hit or miss. I do notice that I broke my jaw in the past, so I do have a lot of sensitivity in this area along my teeth. And I'm noticing that this brush is kind of stimulating that a lot. Usually if you do brush routinely with this, that can go away. But with the sensitive mode, I am noticing that that's less intense. It's still there. But with the cleaning mode and the whitening mode, it was much more intense, where it'd probably be too much as far as tickling and stimulating that like trigeminal nerve there where I broke my jaw. But now we'll try out the gum care mode. So that is definitely less intense. It toggles through like a mode where it's going pulsating on and off. So that's definitely a different mode there. And then lastly, we'll do a deep clean. And that in general seems very similar to the other modes, a little bit less intense as compared to the white and the cleaning mode, but does kind of just do a continuous pulsation throughout that time period. So that's the different 5 modes. The main noticeable difference is the whitening and cleaning. There's a little bit less intensity between those. The sensitive mode is definitely less, like more sensitive, less stimulating. The gum care mode has that pulsating aspect of it. And then the deep clean seems very similar to the cleaning mode. I'd have to really see the subtle nuances. But now what we'll do is we'll brush a whole 2 minutes. I'm gonna just use the sensitive mode because I am more sensitive in general for my teeth being stimulated. And we'll just test this out. Okay, so that was a full 2 minutes with the Voom Sonic toothbrush. I'll note that as brushing every 30 seconds or so, it would just pause for a brief period of time to indicate that you've reached 30 seconds. For me, that actually was almost perfect timing, where I brushed like the whole front of my teeth, the top. It paused, and then I got the back on the bottom. And then I switched over the top, and so it actually timed it almost perfectly, which was good. After 2 minutes, when it reached the end of the brushing time period, it just paused or turned off completely, which is actually better because that prevents you from overbrushing. So if you get the habit of using the quadrant sensor and brushing according to those quadrants, you'll brush adequately. Overall, my teeth feel very, very clean, very well brushed. A couple things I noted with this as I was brushing was really for this ultrasonic toothbrush, it's a little bit more intense than the other ones I've used, but it did all the cleaning on its own where you don't have to scrub or brush like a traditional manual brush. You really could just let it run across your teeth and do the work there, which was really nice there. It is a little bit stronger and overstimulating from that, even on the top of my teeth, like behind my gums. I did notice a little bit of a tickling sensation, which I could probably get used to with time, but it's something to just be cognizant of. Beyond that, I do like the general design of this. It's a nice, sleek, nice finish. It's very hard in your hand, not flimsy at all, and sits really easily and comfortably. So that's a nice aspect of it as well. One thing to note is it does not have a pressure sensor, I believe. We'll test it, but yeah, there's no pressure sensor here. And so some brush heads, if you're transitioning over from a manual toothbrush or one that you used to scrub, you do want to get a pressure sensor to start because that allows you to not press too hard and really get in the habit of just letting the brush do the work rather than you brushing and pressing hard from that standpoint. So that's pretty a good overview. The only kind of criticism I have is I can't really figure out how to turn this off easily. Like if you press and hold, it doesn't turn off. So it's something about like either double tapping this where like you double tap quickly or something, it turns off, or you just toggle through it. Like if I toggle through, it turns off on its own. But once you get it started, you really should just brush for 2 minutes, so it doesn't matter that much. But it's easy to toggle through the different settings. It's just if you start it and you want to stop it, you do have to toggle all the way through to this like off stop button from that standpoint. So that's just one major criticism. But the brush head was actually nice. These are very soft bristles. They are long, so they reach very easily in my teeth without any issues. And my teeth are very clean from that standpoint. But that's really all I have for the Voom Sonic. I'm actually pretty impressed with this. This silver model is $43, but the black model is only $35. And at this price point, it's a very, very good quality brush. As far as the features, design, and the overall elements there, the magnetic stand, then charging stand, the 5 different modes, and the fact that it's a very strong ultrasonic nature. So for 35 bucks, it's way, way cheaper than like the Oral-B's, the whatever the other brands. The Lumino one was about double that price. I've got a couple other ones. I got like there's like an LED one I got that it's ultrasonic, that's a little bit more expensive. So this seems to be a good option at this price point, so definitely check it out. What I'll do is I'll switch over to using this brush over the next month or so, see if I run into any issues. I'll get a general sense of its longevity as far as battery life and charging, and I'll circle back with a video at some point to give you a sense. But this is the Voom Sonic Series 7. Definitely check it out. I don't see any issues other than the on-off switch being a little bit kind of a pain. But when you're brushing, it really won't matter that much. But thanks for watching and have a great night.